Chapter 3. As soon as the bell for morning break went that Wednesday, Gabby and me ran out into the playground to read the special letter that Mrs. Peters had given me to take home to my mum. It said, "Dear Mrs. Butters, as part of a new and exciting initiative to increase your child's awareness of the natural world, our class has welcomed 2 hamsters into its fold. Pickle and Pops are firm favourites with the children, but will be looking for a home outside of school for the duration of the Easter holidays. Can you help? Would you and your child be willing and able to look after 2 lovable hamsters, returning them safely to the school after the holiday? If so, please tick each of the boxes below accordingly. Sign and return to the school office." Yes, my child and I would be delighted to look after Pickle and Pops. My child and I have no known allergy to hamsters. My child and I have no known allergy to hamster food or sawdust. My child and I have no known allergy to fruits or vegetables. I/we accept full responsibility for any discomfort that may occur as a direct or indirect result of lifting a hamster cage. I/we accept full responsibility for any disorientation, dizziness, and/or any other side effects that may be caused by the repetitive spinning of a hamster's wheel. Signature of parent. And undertake to pay for any veterinary attention that may be needed over the said period of hamster care. It took me and Gabby nearly the whole of morning break to read the letter. We understood the "Dear Mrs. Butters" bit, but got really confused by all the rest. "What if your mum gets confused too?" asked Gabby. "What if she gets so confused by the letter she won't sign the form?" "I'm going to put ticks in all the boxes and sign it for her," I said, getting my pencil case out of my school bag. "The trouble with filling in a form for your mum is you have to make it look like your mum has done all the filling in." Mum. Trouble is, I did it in purple felt tip. When I showed my filled in forms to Gabby, she said that parents don't usually write in purple felt tip. Plus, they usually do joined up writing. Plus, I had signed Mum instead of Tiffany Butters, which meant there was no way Mrs. Peters would believe my mum had filled in the form. Which meant there was no way Mrs. Peters would believe my mum had said yes. Which meant there was no way I could give the form back to Mrs. Peters. Which meant I had to screw it up into a ball and throw it in the rubbish bin. Which meant I didn't even have a special letter to take home anymore. The trouble with not having a special letter to take home anymore is I had to persuade Mrs. Peters to give me another one. "Say a dog ate it," said Gabby. "There aren't any dogs in the playground," I said. "Say Jack Beachwhistle ate it," said Gabby. "It's okay," I said. "I know exactly what I'm going to tell her." The trouble with telling Mrs. Peters that the wind had blown the letter out of my hand during morning break, and a bird had swooped down and carried it off in its beak is, I'm not sure she believed me at first. I never knew we had pelicans in the area, Daisy, she said. Or perhaps it was a toucan. I'm not sure, I said, but its beak was massive. In fact, I was lucky. It didn't fly off in my school bag as well. Luckily, Mrs. Peters totally believed me and gave me another letter to take home. Only this time I didn't fill it in. This time I decided to cross my fingers instead. Chapter 4. When I ran out after school to meet my mum, I was so excited I could have burst. Thank goodness I'd been to the loo, because guess what? My mum said yes. As long as it would be me looking after the hamsters over the holidays and not her. Which was a bit of a weird thing to say if you ask me. Gabby was really excited for me too, especially when my mum said I could keep Pickle and Pops in my bedroom. Mum even said I could put their cage right beside my bed. I couldn't believe it. It was going to be the best Easter holiday ever. I didn't care whose turn it was to feed Pickle and Pops for the rest of the week now, or even who got to clean them out, because I knew that as soon as we broke up from school on Friday, I was going to have Pickle and Pops all to myself for a whole 2 weeks. And their cage, and their wheel, and their food, and their drinks bottle, and their sawdust, and everything. I would be able to feed them every day, and even clean them out every day if I wanted to. How brilliant is that? All I had to do now was wait to take them home. And wait, and wait, and wait, and wait. The trouble with being told on a Wednesday that you are going to be hamster guardian of the Easter holiday is, once Wednesday's over, you still have to wait for Thursday to be over before you even get to Friday. Plus, even when you get to Friday, you have to do another whole day of lessons before you break up for the Easter holidays at the end of the afternoon. It was so frustrating. My mum told me that I should stop wishing my life away. But I wasn't wishing my life away at all. I was just wishing my life had real, live, actual hamsters in it, living with me at home. Why did I have to go to boring school first? Why couldn't I be hamster guardian of the Easter holiday straight away? I don't know how many rubber bands Jack Beachwhistle pinged at me over the last 2 days of school, but he was definitely jealous. In the playground on Thursday, Jack told me and Gabby that about 500 years ago, a really bad disease called the Great Plague of London had been caused by hamsters, and that I would probably catch it too now. Luckily, Barry Morley was listening, so when Jack had gone, he told us it wasn't caused by hamsters at all. It was caused by rats, which don't even look anything like hamsters because they have much longer tails. When I asked my mum, she said the Great Plague of London wasn't even caused by rats. It was caused by fleas that lived on rats, which was even better news because fleas don't look anything like hamsters either. And even if they did, Pickle and Pops didn't have any fleas, because if they did, I would have noticed them when I was being hamster monitor. So there was no way I was going to catch the Great Plague of London, or even the Little Plague of London. And even if I did, the first thing I would do when I got back to school is breathe it all over Jack Beachwhistle. That would stop him and his rubber bands. When the bell finally went at the end of school on Friday, it felt like I'd been waiting about 20 weeks. And even then, I had to wait for my mum to turn up. And wait, and wait, and wait. Because when she did turn up and saw me and Gabby by the hamsters, she had to go all the way home again because she had forgotten to bring the car with her. It was so embarrassing. When my mum finally turned up and Mrs. Peters finally gave me Pickle and Pop's cage to hold, I was so excited I nearly burst. Mum took the hamster food and Gabby carried the sawdust. We had absolutely everything we needed for the perfect holiday. "Happy Easter," said Mrs. Peters as we left the classroom. "You too," said my mum. "See you in 2 weeks." I'd never carried a hamster cage out of a classroom before. It was so brilliant. When we got to the car, Mum made me give her the cage to hold while Gabby and I got in and did up our seat belts. But as soon as my seat belt was clicked, I made Mum give me the cage back straight away. "They've woken up," said Gabby, poking her finger through the bars. Gabby was right. Pickle and Pops definitely looked more jumpety than before. "I think they're excited about coming to live with me," I said. "I'd be excited about coming to live with you," said as we pulled up outside her house. "Especially for 2 weeks." "I know," I grinned. "If next Friday is called Good Friday, then this Friday should be called Best Friday." "Best ever Friday," Gabby waved. "See you tomorrow." When we arrived at my house, I couldn't get my seatbelt off quick enough. As soon as I got Pickle and Pops through the front door, I carried them straight up to my bedroom. Mum helped with the sawdust and food, but I was totally in charge of their cage. "I wonder if they eat Easter eggs," I said as I settled them down on the table next to my bed. "No, they do not eat Easter eggs," growled my mum. "Chocolate was not designed for hamsters, Daisy. In fact, it is one of the worst things you can ever feed an animal." I said, "No, I was only wondering, I said. I wasn't going to actually give them any. I'm pleased to hear it, Mum frowned. I wonder if they're hungry though, I said, lying down on my bed and watching them from my pillow. They have plenty of food to eat if they are, said Mum. I wonder if they are thirsty, I said. They know where their water bottle is if they are, said Mum. I wonder if they fancy some fruit, I said. There is fruit in the fruit bowl, if they do, said Mum. I wonder if their whiskers need brushing, I said. You can keep your hands off my hairbrush if they do, said Mum. I wonder if their wheel needs oiling, I said. You can stay out of your shed if it does, said Mum. I wonder if their toenails need clipping, I said. Not even with the red scissors, Mum frowned. I wonder if they want me to read them a story, I said. I wonder if this is going to be the longest 2 weeks of my life, sighed my mum. Oh goodness! Oh good! There's someone at the door. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel and click the bell button so you don't miss out on our next videos. Bye!